I'm Levy, and my character's name is Lillian King. I wanted to. I chose this character because I wanted to represent a typical conservative woman that only had a soft spot for her husband.
I'm Morgan Schlimme. My character was Edison Hill, a senator from Chicago, Illinois. And I chose this character because I wanted to talk about the corruption that was happening during the Roaring 20s and 30s.
Hi, my name is Sydney Yeats. My character's name was Jean Jones, a flapper from the 1920s. I chose her because she represented what flappers were like without the glitz and glamour.
The three of our journals are interconnected so as to represent the social aspect of history in the 1920s and 30s. The main storyline is that Edison, the senator, is having an affair with Jean the flapper, though is married to Lillian, who is a conservative woman of the time.
Some challenges that we faced were that we couldn't connect all of our journals together. And we also couldn't match up journals to what we wanted to portray.
What we all enjoyed about this project was working together and coming up with a cohesive background.
Levy Vo, Lillian Hill, January 2nd, 1922. Hello. My name is Lillian Hill. I'm starting these journals because I have nothing better to do. Most days I sit around admiring our house, reading the Bible, and perhaps read a few magazines. The days seem to be longer without my husband Edison around. I occasionally invite a couple friends around the neighborhood for tea, but other than that, it is dull around here. Since my husband Edison is a politician, we are wealthy. I have all the things I could ever wish for, but I still feel as though something is missing. Maybe it's because I didn't buy the tea set yesterday. I've been wanting for a while. I will tell my butler to buy it immediately. I do not like feeling distressed. Anyway, these journals keep me busy because my husband Edison is never home anymore. He always seems to be in our second house by the country. You see, Edison's job can be stressful at times, so he bought a house in the country to keep him sane. In fact, he's over there right now. I usually go with him, but he insists me to stay home and watch the house these past couple times. He said he would stay at least 3 days, but it's been a week now, and I'm starting to get a little worried. Well, it should be fine. Last week he attended a meeting, and you should have seen how stressed he was. That poor thing. I shouldn't be so worried. He needs the time off. Anyway, that's all I have for now. I will inform you on my latest whereabouts. Lily Hill.
Morgan Schlimme, Edison Hill, July 10th, 1922. When it comes to self-control, I've always excelled. But I must confess, self-control gets hard when you see something you want. After a particularly hard day at work last month, my colleagues and I all went out to the Green Mill Jazz Club on Broadway to get half-seas over. No one ever realizes how hard I've got it. Helping the lesser people is a chore at best. Thank God for speakeasies during this dry time. If prohibition wasn't such a joke, then I have no idea what I'd do. Anyways, after working on the CII, that's the name of the reform program I head, the Chicago Integration Initiative, for one grueling week, we went out for the aforementioned drink. That's when I saw her. Now, I am a man with class and taste. I've never been one for the flapper style with their boxy dresses and boyish haircuts. They look nothing like the curved, beautiful women of my time. It really is a shame that they think they can accomplish anything with their wild ways. I guarantee the modern flapper will be extinct in no time. No man wants a whore for a wife. However, despite all my hard work to control myself on that day, one of them trapped me. I mean, what could I do? She was practically naked with all the skin she was showing in her little dress. I now understood the womanly appeal of those ugly costumes. A flapper takes one ill step and the hem of the dress takes a one-way train straight up their asses. I'm no longer complaining. As I was saying, while our whiskey began to take effect at this jazz club, one of the flappers caught my eye. She was up dancing on a table, clearly drunk, doing her best to sing along with the Ellington playing in the background. At first I could only think how foolish she looked, but then, as I looked on, and the words of Mr. Armstrong popped into my head. If it sounds good, it is good, I told myself. And that night, surrounded by music, loud men, and dancing women, the girl dancing on the table sounded pretty damn good. Any thoughts of my wife, my work, or my pride left my mind. Self-control was dead to me. I went up to the girl and hollered for her name, which she responded to by jumping off the table, taking my hand, and saying, "Jean." I didn't much like the name, but that night I wasn't one to be picky with such things. I told her my name and that I was a senator, and I even told her that I was working on some reforms for women's rights. An obvious lie, but I knew she'd like the sound of that. As we left together for my country house, my buddies back at the table, in a drunken stupor, started whooping and cheering for me. Now, a month later, that first night stays on my mind whenever I get with Jean. The country house and my excuse of work stress are perfect to keep my wife out of the picture. Although, to tell the truth, not much work has been getting done this past month. Integration can wait. It's not like anyone cares about that right now anyways. Sign, E.H.
Sydney Yates, Jean Jones, June 7th, 1922. Dear Diary, I suppose it's the proper thing to begin by addressing who I am. My name is Jeanette Jones, but my closest friends call me Jean. I made the decision to start a diary solely for remembrance. I need to have a significant impact on history, because if I don't, I know I have failed at existence. You see, I don't fear much. In fact, I feel I fear too little. Though if I was to have a fear, it would be oblivion. From a young age, I never thought of myself as someone who would or even could have a substantial effect on others or the world because of my sex. Though the times have changed, I'm able to express myself in a way most women never could, and I love it. I'm able to party like there's no tomorrow, live life without consequences, and meet people that aid me in achieving my goal. I know I am judged by the high and mighty women of America's wealthy society, but I don't care. I know that at the end of the day, I'm doing something with my life rather than sitting around all day, tending to my husband's every need. I realize I must come off a bit standoffish, but this is my journal, and I refuse to hide my true self, just at your expense. I have many secrets, some of which I'll tell you now, and some of that will revealed later through time. For now, I will tell you about a dear friend of mine, Edison, or what I like to call him, Eddie. I have had the pleasure of being acquainted with many men, but this one is different. Yes, he's a wealthy married politician, and yes, I'm 20 and he's 56, but these things are not the real issue. The truth is, I think that I may be falling for him, but then again, what would I know about love? Anyway, I must leave now. I'm not sure when I'll return, but when I do, I'll make sure not to leave you in the dark regarding my current life. Goodbye for now, Jean Jones.